first game of the TCS eSports League. And what a big one to start. Sack already lining up for Sapphire, but Wizzy intercepts. Whew, just coming onto the pitch with so much confidence there to already start those passing plays, Craftman.
Yeah, you can see Servette are just there. Absolute complete confidence, no hesitation from them whatsoever, and right back into the orange half of the field. They got the ball taken away from them on a little bit of a counter-attack, but they're right back where they should be. Wizzy very dangerous across the front of the net. Oh, and Flav almost getting it there. Still there for his teammate to come in, but it's just going to get taken away now. So very impressive from Servette right out the trap.
Amard putting up into the air. Remember, he is subbing in today for Timo. So, first week of league play, and you've got to bring in one of your two subs. That is, I'm actually feeling quite confident for Whiffmasters here. They have got a sub roster which, looking at it, is the strongest in the field, but it all matters about the win at the end of the day. Sack clearing downfield, does get a hit to Sapphire, but too high. Sack already jumping back on it, trying to keep possession of this ball. Lav can't get to that. Sack does get a little touch, but pushes it off to the side, and Sapphire can pick up. You can just see all this control coming out from Servette. Geneva is dominating in these early stages.
And it's really forcing Whiffmasters to go for balls they're being really uncomfortable with. You saw Amard there going up for an aerial that he really had to make, but he was way out of position and actually whiffed it completely, leaving it for the backman to end up clearing it away. But this control and this aggression from Servette has really put the pressure onto Whiffmasters very early on.
It is, but it doesn't matter if Whiffmasters can stay without a goal in their net. Oof. Sack. Big clearance down. He'll look to chase onto that. It's good. It's so good. And there you have it. The first goal of the TCS Esports League. And it's brought to you by the newcomer Sack.
And is brought to you by the ceiling as well. Just a complete whiff of a clearance by Wizzy straight into the arms of Sack, and he hits the ceiling as well, and it confuses the defense. Whenever that ball hits the ceiling, no one's really expecting it to. It can completely throw the defense, and that's the first goal of TCS Esports League. That is surely to go down in history.
It's indeed. It's a good way to open up not only the goal, but just with sheer force. That's up and over. That's dangerous as that moves down to the Whiffmasters net. Doesn't make it the whole way there, but Flav looking for the pass. Can't find Sack. Mako down to Amard. Wizzy going very wide on that, but they are gaining ground. Flav has to do a big clear. Sapphire chasing onto it. No one in net. Amard too high, and Sapphire is going to take the second goal.
Yeah, you see Amard here just really expecting the shot to go up on the backboard probably, and he goes up the wall, not expecting Sapphire to put that straight onto net. Just confuses him and leaves him for dead up on the wall. 2-0 in favour of Servette.
Slowly trickling away at their opponents here, Servette. It's 2-0. Lots of time still, though, for Whiffmasters to get back into this. I feel they've got to ramp up the aggression here, Crafters. There's it from Amard. Sack is back in net and can clear that away. And look at that run, taking it all the way to the corner. I said earlier about trying to keep that possession. That was a good possession play from him.
Indeed it was, but you see Amard there. That was his first shot of the entire game. That's going to be Mac's first, second shot even of the whole game. But the shots that are coming out from Whiffmasters have not really been too threatening for Servette. They've been able to deal with it quite well, as they've always seemed to haven't got a man back. Going to get a man dealt here. It's Wizzy and Amard go for a pinch shot right up onto the backboard of the blue net. And here's a possession now that could go Whiffmasters' way. Could get their first goal. It's dropping down Flav up onto the backboard. Easy clearance for him.
Big commitment here, and a nice try for a tricky play between Flav and Sapphire, but didn't play off. Whiffmasters, yeah, as soon as they get the ball, they just seem to try and throw that at the opponent's net. They've got to build up. They need to get those demos in their opponent's net, just so they're not in the middle of the field. They're not removing the defenders here, Craftman.
They're really not. They're just passing between themselves, and the defenders are sitting back, knowing they can be really patient and just wait for that shot to come in, and then they're able to easily clear it away. And then that leaves Whiffmasters in a compromising position where they're all way upfield. It just leaves their net wide open. Not too many times that Servette have taken advantage of that open net, but it's still 2-0, and they've been taking possession away as Zafir goes for another shot off the wall. It's very threatening here. He is currently the second highest scorer on Servette, and he's done so much for his team so far. A goal and a couple of shots as well. He's one to look out for as we go through the rest of this best of 5.
Is indeed Wizzy. And Amod, get that pass. Sack.
Oh no.
No. Oh no. A little mishap in here. You have it. Whiffmasters are back into the action. 22 seconds remain. They can tie this up, Crafters.
Yeah, you could see what Sack was trying to do there. He was trying to tap it down for himself, but just the angle he was coming in at, it just wasn't to be, and it was just very unfortunate for Sack. Just poor positioning, and it leads to the first goal for Whiffmasters, and it could be the number 2 here for Emmer. Off the kickoff, and Wiz comes and shoots it, and Max there for the follow-up. And 4 minutes to score your first goal, and then 14 seconds to score the next one. Whiffmasters are right back into this.
Whiffmasters, the kings of clutch, it would seem already. That's not a name you really want to have in this league, but they'll take it anyway. A win's a win. Tying the game up, that's a good chance. Zafir does keep that away, running it the whole way downfield. Oh no, that's a mistake. The hit back, there's the follow through from Flav. It does go wide into the corner. Stack, lingering, but that's a good hit away from Amad, who takes this to overtime in game 1, no less, of the league.
It could have been dead at the zeros there as well. We could not be staring at overtime simply if Whiffmasters didn't live up to their name. They completely all whiffed the ball as it was going back to the orange half of the field. Mac almost finishing it. But yeah, Whiffmasters, that counter-attacking play from Servette, they couldn't deal with it, just whiffed it all over the place. It was just poor shooting from Servette, and now we find ourselves 25 seconds into overtime.
Chat throwing a little bit of shade here. The Servette have essentially been the Whiffmasters so far in this game with the 2 lead throw. But in overtime, that's where they can make their mark. A lot of pressure being applied once again. Amad off the wall. A little bit too far, but
Good
does
touch.
get the follower here. Very good touch indeed. As he's able to send that down the wall. Mako can't reach that. But Wizzy lines it up a little bit too high of net. But good touch from Matt to put it over to the side.
And this is the pressure that we've been wanting to see from Whiffmasters. Servette did this to them earlier on in this game. Now it's Whiffmasters' turn. They're just keeping this pressure on, keeping the ball deep in the blue half of the field, and just taking as many shots as they possibly can, hoping that the Servette defense will eventually crack.
A lot of good passing plays coming out from Servette. It's a slow ball just wide, and Wizzy can hit that way. Amar trying to chase on. Gets it high for Mako. Great block though from Zafir, using that Batmobile to its fullest. Here with the drop. Ooh, well kept away from Wizzy. 1 minute 40 already passed. These two teams could be holding on to this overtime for a long time as they're just trying to punch a hole through each other. The lineup for Zafir is blooming great as he gets this perfectly with 0 boost nonetheless.
Exactly, and this comes from Wizzy just diving in. Oh, he gets the backflip there as well. Just crucial. You got to maybe expand his dead zone a little bit. But yeah, unfortunate there from Wizzy. He was diving in anyway. I think it was going to be a goal nonetheless. But fantastic hold there from Servette. Not throwing that game as we might have expected coming into the last minute of regulation. But Whiffmasters, they did so well in the final 30 seconds of regulation time, and then in that overtime as well. They dominated really from start to finish there. How long was that? About a minute and a half? Was it 2 minutes? I didn't actually catch what the overtime time was. But yeah, great stuff from Whiffmasters. Want to see them continue that. They've not managed to, or they have managed to really mount the comeback, and it took them a little bit to get into that game. But once they got into it, Servette really just couldn't deal with it. And I think, especially since it was within the last 30 seconds of the game, Servette's head just went into panic mode, trying to save everything, and it just let those couple of goals in.
It did, and can I just say, Flav being the basic MVP of that game for me, just doing a great job as a captain, holding that back line. He was able to reset his team going into overtime, and they played it a lot smarter, being able to keep out the Whiffmasters. Crafters, though, this is a best of 5. I'm feeling like we're going to get a lot of chopping changing throughout this series.
I think so as well. I think Whiffmasters, the way they played there, I think they can definitely take maybe 1 or 2 games off of Servette. I think Servette are still going to come out on top, in my personal opinion. But I would not be surprised if we end up going to Game 5. The way they played there in that first game and giving it to overtime, that's absolutely fantastic from Whiffmasters. Way above our expectations, and we could potentially have a very juicy matchup on our hands.
We do indeed. Like we said earlier, the qualifying spots may not lead up to seeds. Oh, Servette wanted to just drop my thoughts there. They qualified in the first week and they want to be known as the powerhouses. They've got to earn that right though. Safir up into the air. Can't get a touch on that, but Sack did put a little bit of a tricky shot as Amar does get off to the side, links up with Mako quite nicely, but Mako just straight to his opponents. The drop there from Sack. Wizzy nice and slowly out. The back pass from Flav links up with Safir, but Safir going wide of the net.
Just a slow opening here for both the teams. Really just want to play a little bit slower, a little bit to their own taste. And there's the first goal, just 56 seconds into this one. And Servette just taking advantage of the slow play from Whiffmasters, and they went, I think it was a dive in from one of the last man back, just leaving that empty net. And Flav gets it from the sidewall and takes the first goal of game number 2.
What a touch from Flav there. Just the gentlest little tap to put it behind the defender. And that is how you open up game number 2. Servette taking game 1. They want to stamp their mark straight away. They want to be winning this game 2. Who knows? They might even fancy the sweep. Oh, not enough defense in the world to get rid of that one, it seems.
No, not even the best player. It's fantastic ball control in the air from Zapper. It was just an unfortunate touch. I think that might have been Mako touching that one back into his own net, but really when you're in that position there's not much you could do. You have to go up for that touch to try and get the ball away, but it was just unfortunate. It was back into the net, and fantastic ball control from Zafir. We saw a little bit of that in game 1. I think we're going to see it for the rest of the series as well. Very confident.
It shows how the change of pace can really just win you those situations. Sack, great connection with Flav there. Mako didn't get faked out. He'll charge this downfield. He's got the dribble going. He's on the wrong side of the ball. However, yeah, teammates in the center and the wall's not good enough for him on the left. Great little bounce back. Wizzy with the long shot, but Safir can catch up to that.
And that little dribble from Mako didn't really seem entirely confident when he was going for it. He was trying to flick a man on the left-hand side of the field as he was going down there, and he was miles away from him, just had no real awareness of where anyone was on the pitch. And like you said, he had teammates in the middle, could have easily got it in for a centre ball. We could easily be looking at 2-1 here, but still the defense from Servette holds, and 2.5 minutes gone, 2.5 to go. It's looking very confident, but like we saw this in game number 1. Could we see another comeback here from Whiffmasters?
And maybe it is just Servette Geneva getting a little too overconfident. They can't do that twice in a row. Surely here in this series, Sack putting it up into the mix. It's quite hard from net and quite far. It's going to be hard to grab. And so Mako comes out with it. No. Sack, you cheeky little monkey, just dipping on in, snatching that away.
Brilliant read. Knows he has teammates on the right hand side of him, and he's going to pass it over that way. Sack just able to intercept that one. Knows there's a clear space to the net, and Mac didn't have the power to get out to his teammates. 3-0 very easily for Servette.
Your Whiffmasters here, 3-0. It's got to be looking a little painful. 2 minutes remain though. Enough time to come back. Flav putting it off to the wall. Amar pops out for Wizzu, takes this slow. They've done that once before and it's hurt them. Whiffmasters, they cannot be putting off plays like that.
It's Wizzy again, just into the middle, and Sack trying to get a touch on there. I think he did get a touch, and it just bounces around and easily out to Flav, waiting in possession. You've got to be more aware of where your opponents are on the field if you're going to do infield passes like that, especially in your own half of the field. When you're down 3-0 like that, and now it leads to the 4-0, and Whiffmasters could be out of this game number 2. Oh, if this one goes in, it will be 5-0. They will be out of it, really, with a minute and 37 left. It does trickle in, and Flav gets the 5-0. And I think that is indeed his hat-trick. Not really much you can do there with the ball bounces on top of the net, or between the crossbar and the floor. You really just got to hope and pray a good touch goes your way. But 5-0, it's a statement now from Servette saying, I'm not going to let you come back this time. You're dead, now stay dead, please.
Up into the air, the ball goes. Wizzy looking for Amard in the center. Stack does get the block. Mako will stop that well. Needs to keep the pressure going, however. Wants the block play. He's dead on the backboard. Amard does knock that down, but Wizzy a little bit too far back. The lads from Whiffmasters a little bit disjointed now, not making those clean plays we saw in the second half of game number 1. Amard gets up high. He's going for the second touch, but just could not connect it.
Yeah, just ran out of boost right before there. But yeah, like you said, Whiffmasters, they've just been completely disjointed this game, torn apart by Servette, who've just been so solid in their rotations. They just have that one man sitting back, can come up every now and again, and then just pass it between the other two, rotate back when you need boost, and that is how they've got the 5-0. Will be 6-0 potentially, and it will. Sack will sneak that one onto the crossbar. But what a performance here in game number 2 from Servette, really stamping their authority down. You said before with this match even started, Bacon, that they want to be the powerhouse. They want to be the one team that everyone wants to take down, everyone's going to have to take down. And this 6-0 really stamps their authority on the league, especially in the first game of the entire season.
I say questions were asked with the loss of Skyline,
oh, no.
And here game 2, they're 7-0 up. That first game was close. We're not going to lie at all, going to overtime, coming out 3-2. But here, this second game has just been one-way traffic.
Indeed it has, and 7-0. maybe they might go for the Brazil here, they might let one go. With 25 seconds left, they probably just want to score as many as they possibly can at this point, and they actually will. Go a good touch from Flav. Zafar can't put it home. Actually going to get saved now by Amard, but that could have easily been 8-0 there. And like we said, the first game really close between these teams. I think, like I said, I think Whiffmasters, if they showed the form that they showed in game number 1, they could have potentially taken this to game number 5. But now looking at them, and they're sort of panicking a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be the penultimate game that we're going to see now.
I definitely agree with you there, Crafters. Once again, it's a classic case of the first game being really close, the second just being an absolute flood. Unfortunately, this time it is only in one team's favour, as Servette Geneva just absolute dominate game number 2 and could take us as a sweep. I've been saying this first week is going to be so important for these teams to near enough get the foundations. The first week is all full of nerves. And so by getting that win, it puts you already ahead. So going into week 2, you can be a little bit more relaxed. Go from there, get even more relaxed into league play. The problem is with Masters, if they lose today, it could start a horror story for them, essentially. They need to at least get a couple of games on that board.
Yeah, absolutely. And every game counts towards their final score, towards tiebreakers, etc. And with such a long season as well, it could potentially come down to game difference in the end. So you really want to try and win every game that you possibly can. Even if you're going to lose the series, you at least want to get one game off your opponents. And Whiffmasters, I think if they played the way they played in game number 1, at least towards the end of that game, they could put a lot of pressure on Servette, and they know they can do it. They just need that spark of confidence. And I think maybe an early goal within the first 30 seconds here could swing it in their favour.
I do feel it is way too early for us to call anything here. You were saying about that long season. Remember, they will have to face up against each other again in the future. So Whiffmasters, it's only early days. Build yourself up from here. Let's see it in game number 3 of the first best of 5 on stream. And Wizzy's ready for it. Here comes Amard up high. Safir does well to keep that win. He's looking for the second touch. Couldn't angle it just right, but he'll follow on. But you know, he talks Flav into picking it up. Sack has been putting on an impressive performance so far. He's looking for the double touch. didn't quite work. It was an awkward one to get, in all fairness.
It was indeed, but can we just talk about that start there for Whiffmasters? So confident for Wizzy to go for that kick very early on. Probably he's probably in comms with his guys saying, come on guys, we want to retaliate from that 7-0 loss. We want to get back to our game number 1 form, and he's going to go for another touch. I think he just ran out of boost towards the end there. Now picking up fully, will come back into defense, but Wizzy's probably in comms with his guys, inspiring them, saying, right, let's get out the traps early, let's get one on the board, and Wizzy will try and put one over. It's going to be on the goal line. Zafir ends up getting it away, but he only runs into Amard, and Whiffmasters on the offense very early, and Servette eSports, or Servette Geneva even, they're looking a little bit shaky, but not too, their foundations haven't been rocked too much here in the first minute and a half.
No, these two teams are both offensive play styles. They've got to be on the attack. Defense is where they just seem to lack a little bit. So make sure that you play just that little bit faster and you'll be able to get on that offense a little bit more often. That's a good shot though from Flab as he puts home the first goal in game number 3.
It was a brilliant shot from him, but even better pass from Sack off the wall. Not a lot of boost to his name, and he ends up getting it down to Flab. Fantastic awareness, knowing where your team is on the field at any given time, and the defense of Whiffmasters just did not see that one coming, and it was essentially a free shot for Flab. 1-0.
Well, as well, remember, Safir had to pass that up to Sack as well, so it was just a triple play, using all 3 members of the team to get the goal. Teamwork at its finest, and Sack just repaid here.
Yeah, and it was another little play there from Wizzy actually. We saw that in the last game where he tried to pass to his teammates and just got intercepted, and he just touches it down to Sack in that case. Very unfortunate, and another one of those ones where you need to be aware, not of where your own team is, but where the other team is at any given time. And especially in your own half of the field, because stuff like that can just happen out of nowhere.
Last time we saw Servette get 2-0 up this quick, it was scary. There's 3-0. I was hoping this would be a bit closer to game number 1, but Servette are determined to make a repeat. A bit of deja vu of game number 2.
And it's just the positioning again from Sack, knowing that ball's going to pop out towards the right-hand side of the goal. And no one's there. And again, Whiffmasters just really clumped together in defense. They need to start out their communications and say, right, I'm going for this. You guys rotate and go. Get some boost. Let's set up for another play. And you see another double commit there from Wizzy and Mako. It's just so unfortunate that we see them do this kind of thing. And it's just hurting them so bad, especially in their own half of the field. It's not really making a difference when they are double committing in their opponent's half, well, I suppose, except when they actually want to try and score a goal. But it's hurting them the most where they're double committing and just not rotating very well in their own half, and Servette are just eating that for breakfast.
Flab can reach it, but it's pressure nonetheless. Sack, pretty awkward, and he's just going to back off. They're not too worried here, Servette, about their attack. Defense is more important in these stages, making sure they've got a man back. Zafir puts it off to the side. Mako has got to look for rebounds there off the wall. We can't hit it straight into his opponent. It's a powerful hit, but Sack in net does save it.
It was a beautiful touch, really Servette-esque. Oh no, Wizzy, you can't touch it that way. Especially when the guy's not back to save that. Mac eventually makes the touch and gets it away. That is very dangerous from Wizzy. But good awareness in the upper half of the field for Whiffmasters. We've not really seen them on offense too many times in this game. Only 3 shots, all from Wizzy as well. So they want to get some goals to their name. And with a minute left, only 3-0 down. It is possible, but they're going to have to go really, really quickly.
Here we go, Whiffmasters. We're challenging you here to tie it up.
Oh,
There's
that's
the
the one.
first. That's how you do it, forcing the mistakes. Well played here by Wizzy.
Yeah, it just draws, who's that, Zafir? It just draws him way upfield, trying to get it, and then off of Amrod, Wizzy puts it into, and just really essentially a pinch goal into the blue net. 45 seconds to get a couple of goals. It's not unheard of, but if they're going to do it against this Servette side, they're going to have to pull off a miracle.
Miracles can happen, Crafters. I've seen it many a time in Rocket League, and these two teams, again here, they've got to make it all count. Every point matters in this league. Mako does get that up high. There's Wizzy. Look for the pass, couldn't find it. Mako across. That's into his opponent's hands, and Flab will clear that down. Looking for Sack. Now come off the backboard. Wizzy couldn't get the touch, but Mako can. Puts it away. It's a little bit too slow chase on that, but gets the block. He's lining it up. He fancies it, but no, Wizzy couldn't put it away either. And Crafters, I think we've got the match concluded.
Game that's set and match there for Servette Geneva. Fantastic play from them. Whiffmasters, they did their best to get back into that in the last minute or so, but it was too tough a challenge for them to come back against that awe-inspiring side of Servette. And